I was a 20-year-old, scared to death child. I had spent 8 hours in a car with 2 officers transporting me from the county jail that I was in Northern California, and was driven down to Southern California. It was the last 8 hours of my life. Within the first month of my being on the yard, I was actually sold by my roommate to another girl down the hall in a poker game. I later was attacked by 2 women and held down and raped. I thought I was alone. Only much later did I realize that I was 1 in 200,000 people who are sexually abused in detention every single year. So many of them fall through the cracks, just like me. Before I was adopted by a military family, I spent the first 7 years of my life in an orphanage. After I served my 29 years, I never thought I'd go back to prison, but today I am. I work at Just Detention International, and our mission is to end sexual abuse in detention and to make sure that prisoners get the help they need while they serve time.
I was 12 years old when I first entered juvenile hall. I was sexually abused by fellow inmates. Staff members were aware of this abuse, and they turned their heads, and they didn't want anything to do with me or the abuse. That led to future destruction in my life. So I ended up in adult prisons being abused and being attacked, not only by fellow inmates, by staff members as well. So it really turned my life upside down.
In the year 2006, I was arrested for public drunkenness and ended up at LA County Jail. This cop made a comment. He said that we all walk like girls. And I said to the person next to me, a man unsure of his masculinity. And obviously the cop heard. He rushed me, pinned me up against the wall, threatened me. A few days later, that same man that threatened me actually came into my cell. And of course, he came in there and manhandled me, threw me on the ground, stripped me naked, assaulted me sexually. Total humiliation.
We as inmates or convicts, we're not allowed to show emotions, but we're full of emotions. We just can't show them. A lot of times there's this thing where we feel we're going to get rejected, we're not going to be accepted, we're not going to be worthy of help.
Hi! So good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so good. And you?
I'm good. Coming back in to try to help your sisters that are left behind. It doesn't get any better than that.
And I agree.
I feel that it's my duty, my absolute duty as a warden that believes in rehabilitation, that once a woman comes to me for whatever length of time that she's here, to try and help her get better, because I want her to take advantage of whatever I have here in this prison and then go out and parole and not come back again. And even if she happens to have a life sentence, she still can get better while she's here, because this then becomes her home. This becomes her community.
My name is Bo, and I was here for 29 years.
So JDI has helped us in so many ways. And the difference with JDI is that they come in and they go the next step. It's not just assistance, it's training, education that ends up changing the culture of the institution.
I lived on a unit of 120 people. This was my cell. There was 119 other broken women who coped with their issues their way. I don't know of any woman in the 29 years that I did here that hadn't been abused in some sort of way. We're bringing this in so that we can be better, so that when I walk out of these gates and I have a trigger, something that I remember from the past that may have made me melt down any other time, I have a toolbox now. I have, I've talked this through. I've worked through this. I have someone I can call. I know that I'm okay. Shocking enough, we didn't know. We had rights, and Just Detention International brought those rights to us.
These lockup shows and stories about what we do in prison. And I think the more people watch those things, the less human I become. I am a human, and I made a mistake. And sometimes we didn't make mistakes, but we end up in prison. And yes, we have to do things to survive in there. But we are individuals who need help.
I've had people tell me, you don't look like a lifer. And I'm not sure what a lifer looks like. We have the same problems everybody else has. It's just in a lot more of a confined space, which for us makes it even scarier. And to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel means everything. And that's what an advocate can give.
Tomorrow is back to work. Tomorrow is Just Detention International, Wilshire Boulevard. Get more packets out to survivors. It's back to try and help the ones that I didn't get to see today.